In this lecture, we're going to talk about more advanced communicators. When we're talking about more advanced communicators, what do we mean by that? What we mean is getting beyond basic requests and protests into more sharing thoughts and feelings, problem solving, clarification, information, conversational type language. So when we're first transitioning from basic requests and protests to more of that, sometimes you want to use some carrier phrases to kind of get the child to have an idea of different kinds of functions. So this is absolutely not where you should end up or what you should shoot for, but it's a way of kind of bridging to more conversational language. So one of the things I do is switching from I want to I see, but you can't do that in the same kind of repertoire as I want, because if you've been working with them constantly, so what do you want? I want whatever. Then when you say, what do you see, what are they going to do? They're going to expect you to give them whatever. So they've been getting cookies and toys, etc. for saying I want. They're probably not going to focus in on the fact that I see is much different. So you have to do it experientially and you have to do it differently. I do it with a flashlight because it makes I see visual. So we go on scavenger hunts to find things and put in bags, things like that, that really make the verb see salient to them, and the fact that they can describe what they are actually doing. So you've really switched functions now from really just request, an instrumental kind of request, to describing what they see to another person. It's a beginning of sharing of thoughts. And that philosophical difference is very important, because if you have poor theory of mind, if you have poor social perspective, it doesn't occur to you to share thoughts. So I start with I see with a flashlight, then I may use I hear with some animal sounds. And then I'm going to bump up the situations in which I'm going to sabotage things that they can use their language to problem solve. So if they're wanting to eat, maybe I've forgotten their spoon. If they're doing a arts and crafts project, maybe I give them something different. So things that make them have to go, oh, there's something wrong here, I need to use language to fix it, which is different than holding up a cookie and saying, do you want a cookie, right? It takes a lot more gathering of contextual cues to do this, and that's what we want them to do. I also prime other kinds of simple sentence structure using speaking dynamically flow, writing with symbols, repetitive books with repetitive lines. I use them all the time. So for instance, if I want to teach them a new sentence structure, maybe I would choose if you give a mouse a cookie or if you give a moose a muffin. And then they're learning that sentence structure because it's very repetitive. So then after they know that sentence structure, I transfer it to their everyday life. Oh, if I give you the green, then you can color in the tree. If I do this, then you can do that. You know, those kinds of things that will help them increase their expressive sentence structure and get beyond the I want. So when we're talking about conversation, what are we talking about? Why is it so complex? Well, you'd be amazed when you actually think about it what we do in order to have a conversation. So I have a little social card file, as do all of us, in our head that helps us with this. So first I look and I recognize the cues. Oh, that person wants to talk to me, right? And so I've interpreted, oh, they look open and ready for talking. And then I'm selecting from my social card file, where do I know you from? So, oh, I know you from autism class. Right? And so, okay, do I want to talk about autism class? Do I want to share something personal with you, I have to select a lot of response content, and within that I have to say, well, if I select something personal, I have to let them know about something because they don't know I have a child, and they don't know I have 2 labs, and they don't know I've been married for a really long time. So I would have to let them know that because I know that you don't know that about me. Then I have to construct that response, put it in the appropriate syntax, select the appropriate vocabulary, and then I have to motorically produce that response. So I have to make sure that I'm saying the correct sounds and all of those kinds of things. And so then, wow, I finally got this comment out in response to you, and I have to start all over again. I have to listen to what you're saying and incorporate that into what I was thinking and start the cycle all over again. Meanwhile, I have to be constantly monitoring to see if there's a need for clarification or repair, if something didn't go right, if I forgot to put in something, if I said something incorrectly. All of those kinds of things are overriding all of our conversational kinds of effort, and this makes conversation use so much functional connectivity, doesn't it? So you can understand why conversation would be very difficult. They have to take in the situation. Oh, this is at school. Oh, this is a person who I know from where. Oh, look at their body language. They look really sad today. They look like they don't have time to talk, or they look like they do have time to talk. All of those things are multitasking in our brain, and we do this all pretty automatically. But for the child with autism, they're having to really work at pulling all that information together. It requires a lot of central coherence. So let's talk about how to teach conversation. The parts of conversation there are 4 parts. The first is greeting, and that simply says, hi there, I'm available for talking, right? Or it could mean I'm not available for talking. You know, hi, I'm really busy, you know, that kind of greeting. Then there's small talk, and all of us engage in small talk before we get to the meatier parts of our conversation. So with someone I don't know very well, the small talk probably ends the conversation. And small talk has a very limited number of topics. It's usually weather, current events, maybe small talk about family, about where you are, things like that. Not very many topics. Then if you know them or you have a meatier information to share, then you move on to sharing information. Many people with autism go straight from greeting to sharing information, and this is seen as odd. You know, have you ever had a friend who really just immediately goes into all this deep thinking and deep talking without kind of leading you there? Well, that's really hard. So you want to really teach children with autism to do small talk. Then sharing information is an unlimited number of topics. It could be anything depending on what you share together with this person or what that person's experience brings to the sharing. And then finally, closing. Closing means it's time to stop talking, I need to go, we've been here long enough, all of those kinds of things. And we all have friends who don't respond to the jingling of the keys or the, well, I've got so much to do kind of hints, you know, and you find yourself kind of backing away from those people. And that's really important to teach our children about, too, to recognize those body language hints and to be able to close a conversation.